So here we are, we're doing a 1980 Toyota pickup, four-wheel drive. And what you're seeing right here is where we started to tear down the cab, or I started to tear down the cab and kind of removing everything and taking a personal inventory on everything, and just started by cleaning everything up. What had happened is the original owner of the truck had a 4.3 swap done, a TBI swap, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and he bought this truck brand new. So his son kind of took on the project and took it to somebody, and they tore apart the truck into pieces and never completed the project. So through word of mouth, I got a phone call one day, and they asked me if I would like to come take a look at this project and take it on. And so I went out, and the owner of the truck had an airplane hangar, and all the parts were scattered across the hangar, and some of the parts missing, but everything was torn apart. And I thought about it. I told him I needed a couple days, and I called him the next day and said, sure, I'll do it. And this is what you're seeing here is that first inventory of all the pieces, parts, and I just dove right in, started sanding and painting, and trying to restore everything that was there, everything that I could reuse, because a lot of these parts were difficult to come by. This is the rear axle here, getting all the brake shoes, hardware, everything taken care of. So what was really neat about this airplane hangar is that there's my truck there, but I would come in at night, and I'd have the airplane hangar door open, and I'd be working, and you just get to see all these planes coming in, taking off, landing. Really, really neat experience. Kind of reminded me of what Shelby was doing when he was taking the Fords down in at LAX area, and had his speed shop and was working on the cars with planes and landing, and just a really neat atmosphere to do this job. And here you're starting to see everything come together as far as the drag links, and right here this is some video of the painter kind of struggling to get his paint gun working while he's taking care of the skid plate for the fuel tank. And just a really neat project. Now these guys are Colorworks Professional Automotive Finishes. Really neat shop. We ended up having the whole truck painted by them. They specialize in old Porsches and Alfa Romeos, and they do a lot of Broncos as well. You'll probably see in some of the later pictures as the project moves along. Yeah, like I was saying, I was trying to save everything I could as far as the parts, so if there was something that I could restore, I would. And here we are getting measurements, looking at what kind of shocks we need to order. I had to make some custom braces and spacers. And here you're starting to see everything really come together. I did a engine fitment with the body on, and we just I got some help from the owner of the truck, and we lifted the body up on, and then I dropped the engine down in. And this is me with my truck and the body of the pickup on the back. And here's the engine. I welded in the mounting brackets, and I'm just trying to get all the fitment and alignment right for the 4.3. This is a part of the project I was getting pretty excited about. We had a custom drive line made, and I had to do custom brake lines because all the brake lines were shot. This is me redoing the throttle body injection unit. I took it to my work on the weekend and got a rebuild kit and went through it all, and these throttle body injection units they're all right. I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, this is trans cooler lines installed. Project's starting to come together. The TBI's up on top. Brake lines are getting done. You can see some right there on the passenger side frame rail. Really happy with the project at this point. But with a project like this and everything being torn apart already, it's about figuring things out and trying to, it's ingenuity at this point. Unfortunately, I wasn't the one who took this apart, so trying to figure out where every nut, bolt, and bracket went back together was kind of a challenge. But I think I did a good job at figuring everything out, and the 4.3 looks really good in this truck. See there, the tanks put back in. We've got the new braided fuel hose. If you look at the passenger frame rail, you're going to see the new brake lines and also the fuel line and electric fuel pump has started to run. And what I thought was really neat, I was able to come by the fuel return and fuel feed line from the original TBI from whatever Chevy this was in. And they tucked down and ran along the bell housing of the transmission, which was really nice. Kept everything pretty neat. And right here you're going to see the body going in and getting worked on. Got a coated primer right here on the bed. So what had happened with the truck cab is we thought we could get a hold of a new roof skin, and so they had drilled out all the spot welds and pulled the roof skin off, and it turns out we couldn't get a hold of a new one. But we got it all welded back on and taken care of, and they patched everything up pretty good. And here's the truck right now you're seeing. We got the cab on and the bed on. Really coming together. The owner wanted to add LED headlights, which really modernized the vehicle. I believe we had a Wizard cooling radiator. Here's the front. You look underneath, everything's looking really good. But this is where it's going to get messy. We ran a lot of wiring. There were a lot of accessories going on. There were dual batteries, air compressor. The rear bumper was actually an air tank. So really neat stuff. Tons of toggle and accessory switches inside that ran the winch and all the rock lights. There were 360-degree rock lights all around. You'll see later in the video. The owner wanted sound deadening inside. So here's me trying to figure, the computer, all the wiring, and getting everything cleaned up. There's that air compressor in the bed. Just running all the wiring along the body, but everything at this point is starting to come together. We did I believe a 4-inch body lift on top of the lift itself, and that was because the engine, in order to fit the air cleaner and stuff inside, we had to lift the body as well, so we could shut the hood. Yeah, the paint shop did a really nice job with everything. The body was really straight, everything was really clean. The owner wanted to go with a matte black, like a satin matte black, but I thought it would have looked really cool in a desert beige with a high gloss, but you know, it's his truck. Yeah, really excited about the project at this point. Obviously, I'm getting closer to getting paid. So, just trying to mate the Toyota, the original Toyota harness with the new harness, and then all the additional accessories that the owner wanted to run. Was a little challenging, but not too bad. I got it all figured out. Um, you're seeing in there, you see the new brake lines, proportioning valve. I ended up moving that onto the fender well, so that we could really dial in the rear brakes and brake distribution. And here's kind of a up top view and a walk around to the vehicle. You see the dual shocks everywhere. We got the steering stabilizer, everything from Bilstein. We actually went through a couple different sets of shocks. We couldn't get the right travel we wanted, and everything was real stiff at first, and then just took a few attempts to find the perfect setup. There's that rear air tank in the back that looks just like a really large tube bumper, but it was actually a air tank, and you know, which is great for when you're on the trails, being able to store air in the tank and have the kind of pressure that allowed. And here we are, and the neat thing about this project is the owner wanted it to be able to be smogged here in California, and that's pretty difficult for a 1980 Toyota pickup. Anything, you know, newer than 1975, you have to take to the state referee, especially when you're changing an engine. It can be a big hassle.
1980 Toyota pickup that I built from the ground up for the 4.3 Chevy V6 in it.
And this was the first startup without headers, so it's kind of loud right here, but I had already done a pre-start, but this isn't the first startup, but this is me running it without the headers. Everything's kind of loud, but really happy with how she started right up, and she ran really good. No real problems. We ran a break-in oil during the first startup and went through the break-in procedure with the engine.
There you have it.
Yeah, here's just some more pictures of the process of brakes and building all the lines and running all the wires. Everything got pretty messy with the wiring for a moment as we were, you know, laying everything out initially, and later went back and wrapped everything. Yeah, this is just some of the behind the scenes, you know, with all the air conditioning and stuff that I had pulled out. The owner opted for no air, so I installed a bypass pulley where the air compressor originally should have gone with the 4.3. Yeah, here you're seeing some of the wiring come together. Turned into kind of a rat's nest. But we were able to go back and kind of wrap everything up and make it look nice, the loom. And truck had a really mean stance. Really nice truck. Was definitely grateful that they came to me and I was able to take care of this project for them. I know it meant a lot. And in the video, you miss me rebuilding the front steering knuckles and um, which was fun. There was a lot involved in that. But I mean, races were replaced, bearings were replaced, and this was a brand new truck, so to speak. Yeah, right here you can start to see the rat's nest I was talking about. Um, like I said, we ran a lot of accessories, and there's the bench seat was redone to look like the newer version of the Tundra. So the interior coloring, we ended up taking the truck to an upholstery shop in Roseville, and they were able to take care of the dash and wrap it and do the seats to match, and it ended up looking really nice inside. I don't think I included any pictures, but here it is looking really mean with the front Toyota grille and the new LED lights. That front bumper, the winch that went in it was a monster. Here's me trying to clean up some of the gauges, the original gauges, and right here you can see the rock lights. I turned down the audio on the video here, but it's there's a sound system in it, and the 360 rock lighting and marker lights. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can see the large winch on the front there now, but this is just about wrapped up on the project, and the owner was really happy. I think we were just waiting on a windshield at this point. I think the last picture on here is going to be the windshield installed, but yeah, original plates, and it was off to the state referee at this point. And yeah, so this is a California smoggable 4.3 swap, and that's it with the